What's up, YouTube? We are going to do the Ice Spice edition of The Rich Life, how she spends and earns her fortune.
She's the world's hottest new drill rapper and unquestionably the one woman who everyone wants to learn more about. The female MC known as Ice Spice. Today we're going to take a look at her net worth and all the money she's been pulling in. Also, what she spends it on. Now, Ice earned herself a reputation as hip-hop's next up after dropping her hit.
I'm sorry, y'all, that my quality is bad right now. I don't know why. I'm on Wi-Fi.
Munch Feelin' You in the summer of 2022. Now this led to an explosion in not only popularity, but her checking count as well. And we're talking to the tune of $2 million. That is if both celebrity net worth and her own words are to be believed. And since collecting the bag, well, this fashionista has been buying some pretty trendy looking bling that's eerily reminiscent of herself, while encouraging the rest of the world to start dressing in her one-of-a-kind look that the vast majority of us could actually afford to pull off. So how is this talented songstress already cashing in our career that got jump-started less than a year ago? Well, you're about to find out on our newest episode of The Rich Life. We're going to look again at her net worth, all the money she's making, and then how she spends it. So
why does he have an Elvis Presley statue thing right behind him? Then he got a Thor thing right here, and some goggles, and a Jesus candle.
Tunes. And just a few months ago, no one knew who Ice Spice was, though she had been working on breaking into the music industry for a little while. And although her first track, Bully Freestyle, did relatively well when it was released in early 2021, well, the songs that followed were actually, they were all flops, to be honest. And for the most part, Ice, she blamed this early lack of success on her desire to fit into what she thought the music industry would find to be, more palatable. And that's when she decided to return to her more genuine self, and she unleashed no clarity in November of 2021. But while her music was trending in the right direction, Ice Spice soon found herself down to her last remaining dollars. Then everything changed with the release of her single Munch Feelin' You. Even Drake, he reached out to express admiration for her music, and he flew Ice as well as her friends out to Toronto on a private jet. They were all there for the OVO Festival. Now at the time, while Ice's producer Riot, he was equally as broke, and he explained to the New York Times, "I probably had like $200 to my name on that trip. It kind of felt like the flight was like my flying into a new life." And much like how Drake himself was taken with Ice's skills on the mic and her signature look of golden curls, bold outfits, and intense eye contact, well, the rest of the world soon followed with her new track going viral on TikTok. Now, in the wake of this successful Ice Spice, she signed a recording deal with 10K Projects and Capitol Records, a deal that she since suggested was valued at $2 million. Now, I'm going to make somewhat of an assumption here, but my best guess is that the $2 million Ice is referring to, well, it was a signing bonus she received for becoming a member of the...
It's part of her label's money. Her label, when you get signed to a label, y'all, most rappers, y'all will get an amount of income that you have to pay back when it's called a 360 deal. Some labels, you don't have to pay them back. They'll just take a percentage out your earnings. But some of them, you'll have to pay it back at the end of the contract.
10K roster. Now, in most cases like this, after that one-time payment, well, their contract would then work in such a way that Ice would be guaranteed at least 50% of the total revenue her music produces moving forward. So let's dig a little deeper into those numbers to find out how much money she's actually making. So as Ice Spice continues to release more and more hits, like say her recent single, Bikini Bottom, well, she'll continue to build her worth off of that initial $2 million down payment. So the more music she drops, the more she stands to make. For instance, another one of the Ice's biggest hits since her breakout, it's called In Hamood. Now, since its release in January of 2023, well, that one song has gone on to be streamed on Spotify over 13 million times. With the world's biggest music streaming platforms, artists, they tend to get paid somewhere around $3,500. That is for every million streams. So if my math holds up, that means that Ice Spice, well, she's already pocketed somewhere around $45,000 since that track's release, which was a couple months ago. But she isn't going to be able to collect on all of that. Now remember, she only gets to cash in on probably around 15% of that number, which brings her total to around $6,800. Now you need to remember that this payout is just for one song from one digital music streaming platform. Now in other words, all that money, it adds up fast. Better yet, music isn't Ice Spice's only means of earning a buck. With Ice Spice being the internet's newest obsession, well, it makes a lot of sense that she's cashing in on all that popularity by forming brand partnerships with companies like Nike, Adidas, and Fashion Nova. Now, honestly, I had no idea that rival companies like Nike Nike and Adidas, they would actually like work with the same celeb. But I guess with the loss of Ye, Adidas is like, we gotta find someone. Anyway, it also goes to show you how El Fuego, the career of Ice Spice, is right now. Now, if you're wondering what kind of money she'd be making here, well, Vox has reported in the past that influencers on social media with more than 1 million followers, well, they can charge as much as $250,000 per sponsored post. Now, Ice Spice, she already has 3 times that number of followers, which would definitely leave her sitting pretty and potentially earning an extra 7 figures in, whammo money each and every year. I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of moolah for someone who was practically a non-commodity this time last year. But that's how fast the culture moves today, and if you're a big-time brand looking to spread your reach, well, you gotta jump on the next opportunity as soon as it presents itself. Alright, now that we figured out how much Ice Spice has built off her newly formed empire from the ground up, well, let's take a look at how she likes to spend some of that cash. According to Ice Spice, well, she's always in the process of discovering her own personal style. But now that she's earning more money than she's ever seen before, well, she's chosen to accessorize some of her fits with personalized and very expensive jewelry, like this custom-made Powerpuff Girl-esque necklace, complete with massive eyes and pouting lips. Now, Ice commissioned this piece from a guy named Benny in the Diamond District of New York City, and all this thing set her back was a cool $100K. Now, according to Benny, well, this piece is actually an animated interpretation of Ice Spice's own face, complete with the curly afro covered in diamonds. Now, one thing's for sure, I can't predict anyone else being able to pull off a piece like this, but somehow Ice Spice, she makes it sing. And for a long time before becoming famous, well, Ice Spice, she secured a lot of her fits from the popular outlet known as Fashion Nova. And I remember her doing like the Bust It challenge. She was wearing something, pretty out there. And where else are you gonna get stuff like that? It's gotta be Fashion Nova. Now, after earning herself millions of dollars, Ice Spice, she could be shopping anywhere, but she isn't ready to uproot the way she looks. In point of fact, well, the look she arrived at when she entered the music industry, well, it's become a look on its own. I'm talking crop tops and True Religion jeans that at the most, well, they would set you back a couple $100, like combined. And while her drip was the same prior to fame as it is now, the brand she finds herself gravitating towards,
True Religion, I'm not gonna lie, is cheap. Probably back then it was expensive, but you can find shit on sale at certain outlet stores. They sell True Religion at Burlington, Zoomies. It's a lot of places. I've seen True Religion jeans go for $60. So when people wear like Ed Hardy, True Religion, shit like that, you're not spending no money like that.
Start at a much higher price point. So let's talk about the Ludovic Saint Sernin lace-up denim jacket that she's picked up that cost $10,000. There's also the Teflar cropped half-tank tee and thigh hole jean concoction that it retails for a little bit north of $300. Now, Ice Spice might not be going totally crazy with her spending habits, but $10,000 on a jacket when less than a year ago she didn't even have more than a few $100 in her account, well, I'd still call that a come-up. Alright, last but not least, let's take a look at one of the whips that Ice Spice
That is not a come up. You're spending that much money on clothes that you're only gonna wear one time.
appears to have bought for herself. I'm talking about a drop-top Mercedes Maybach G650 Lanolin. Now, this might be a little confusing because we can't confirm 100% if Ice Spice actually owns this car. She was seen with it in a music video for In Hamoud, and this bad boy ain't cheap.
They be renting cars and leasing cars out. I highly doubt she owns it.
Now, it would have set her back north of $550K, and still, it's probably worth it because there are only 99 units of this car available, and it's quite the beast. I mean, under a closed roof, passengers, they can enjoy the absolute maximum of comfort with first-class rear seats that include an energizing massage function, as well as a large business console with thermal cup holders. And with just
That's a nice-ass car, though.
press of a button, the large folding top opens to offer up beautiful, unencumbered views of the sky. A majestic open-air experience that Ice and some of her closest friends have already taken advantage of. Now, of course, she's going to need deep pockets to keep it fueled because this thing is a gas guzzler. But it also might very well be the definition of unique luxury, and right now, that probably is the only thing Ice Spice is really concerned about. But will this talented new artist's net worth continue to soar higher and higher from here? I think if I was a betting man, I would say yes. I guess the answer is, though, that only time will tell. Now, this has been our latest episode of The Rich Life, but I have a question for you guys before you go. If you were going to get some expensive Ice custom made, which animated series from your childhood would you use as creative inspiration?
I probably would do Raven from Teen Titans or something like that. Or I would just customize it how I want to. Like, it don't, I feel like some stuff just don't have to be a character. It doesn't really show originality. So, yeah, y'all, like, comment, subscribe. We done with this video. We out.